moeten
Ja.
eerst uitzetten. Ja.
Enfin, het ding is gestart. Dus heel algemeen, ik heb dus eigenlijk vooral interesse, echt interesse, omdat ik ook in het gebied zit, in uw persoonlijke visie met betreffende uw eigen onderzoek. En mijn eerste vraag is eigenlijk, je begint met opwarmingsvragen.
Doen we het in Nederlands dan?
Oh, sorry, no.
Maar voor mij stond even, maar
I
je zei
forgot.
daarnet
I
Engels.
forgot. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. My first question is, how did you decide to become a researcher?
Oh, okay. So I have to go back to the last year of my studies in English, Dutch, Germanic languages, when actually at the end of my last year, after I got my degree, I was talking to a professor, and she was saying to me, oh, maybe you could apply for a PhD.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, is this an option? I hadn't actually thought about it during my studies.
Yep.
I had enrolled for the Advanced Master in Linguistics, the predecessor of what you are doing now. It was called GGS Taalwetenschap, gespecialiseerde studie. And part of this program I was going to do in Helsinki in Finland, the first few months. So I had enrolled for that program, and during that year I wrote my proposal for the FWO to get a PhD grant.
Yeah.
So I really liked doing my MA thesis, my research for my MA thesis. But it was only at the end of the last year that I really decided that.
And what do you actually like about it, about being a researcher?
I love it.
So it's some way it's fun.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
It's work, but it's also fun.
Yes, if I can do my research, without being interrupted, it's really fun for me. Yes.
Okay, but sometimes you
And
are interrupted.
I'm interrupted all the time. That makes it difficult. I think the fun thing is the creativity. You can come up with new ideas. You read some things and you think, oh, I could do this. Oh, this hasn't been done before. I really like that.
So you have
and
an
the freedom.
inquisitive mind, in other words.
Yeah, I think yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the freedom.
Yeah.
The freedom, yeah.
Do you work all the time in here, or
No?
You also do field work.
Oh yes.
A lot.
Well, during my postdoc years, pre-doc and postdoc years, a lot. Now the 2 last semesters I was just teaching, busy with teaching. I didn't have much time. But yes, I have done field work recently with small children, Turkish, Dutch bilingual children.
I read about it.
Okay, yeah. So I went to, I actually did part of the field work myself. Yes. Testing the children and talking to them, yeah.
Okay, can you walk me through your, let's say, your process of researching? So what are the steps when you say, for instance, you want to write a paper, you have an idea, that's where it starts? Or?
Where does it start? Yeah, good question. Typically, of course, you have to write a project first. So either for a PhD or a postdoc or another postdoc, or here, for instance, to get a PhD student. You have to write some proposal, like maybe 5-page, 6-page proposal. So this is the time when you have to write it, when you have to be creative, and usually this takes a long time. Like you've been thinking about something for a while, and then when the time comes that you actually have to write something, you already have some things in mind.
But someone's got to decide first that you can do that, because it's part of a job.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in a way you apply for your project or for the
Yeah,
mm,
yeah, yeah. Although I never feel really restrained by that, because usually once you get it, you have a
you're
lot of
absolutely
freedom.
free. Yeah.
So, yeah. But of course, if you doesn't get something, then yeah, it means you can't do it because, for instance, you don't have the money or not enough
Yeah.
money to do what you actually wanted to
So
do.
it also has to do with funding and grants.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And
Al-
that's sometimes
Always, or can you, because you have a position here at the
okay.
university, do something that in fact you propose?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you can, and I have done it with a colleague now for this Turkish things. These are things which are not in my proposal. My proposal was about intelligibility of Dutch as a foreign language,
Yeah.
but with my colleague Feza, I'm working on language development in bilingual heritage-speaking children. So
Yeah.
that's something we just decided. But it was in her proposal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your main research domain?
That's a difficult one because, of course, I made kind of a switch.
Yeah. Nowadays.
Nowadays, in general, of course, second language acquisition.
Yeah.
More specifically, second language phonology.
Yeah. That's what I understood. I saw all your papers shouting phonology.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what I've always been doing. And now, of course, since I've been working here, I've broadened it
Yeah.
a bit. But I'm still working on the phonology bits. Is it working?
Well, I wonder. It says it's recording, so that's probably good news. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just remember.
That'd be difficult.
Yeah.
If you want to check, go ahead. You know.
Well, okay. Yeah, it's recording. Okay. I wondered, just because at my age my hearing is really bad, to do that, so to work on phonology, does your hearing have to be good?
Oh.
I think it's a strange question, but that's what I thought of first when I read phonology. I said, I can't do that because in field work you probably must be able to write down how things are said.
Oh, I don't know.
If you can't hear it.
Yeah, but it depends what you're doing, of course. But if you want production data, if you want to know how people produce language or sounds, then you're going to record them like you're doing now, and then we look at the waves and the and the spectrogram, so you don't have to hear it the moment itself. Basically, we analyze the acoustics of the speech signal, so the hearing is not that important at the moment.
Yeah.
Or else, if you're interested in how people perceive sounds, it's sort of, I do sort of experiments in which people have to listen to different sounds. So the hearing of the
So it's not that you have to
researcher is
ask
not-
someone to repeat it twice or three times.
No, that would be in the old days, I guess, when you decided like on the moment, at the moment itself, like auditory judgments of people's.
Okay. So what was your most recent research project about? I think you have just said it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the language developments in bilingual children is a sort of general description of several smaller studies we're trying to do in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the methodology, yeah, that's a word for me. Methodology, the methodology used. I ask about that because Professor Slembroek made a big point out of it, that there was once a time that all studies were qualitative, either qualitative or quantitative, but that we are now in a new age where there's a lot of combining.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
how do you do it, and how do you feel about that qualitative thing?
Yeah, that's true. Nowadays, many studies are or call themselves mixed
Mixed.
methods.
Yeah.
Mixed methods. I started off in a quantitative tradition. So,
Yeah.
or my research first was always quantitative, nothing qualitative. But gradually, it's true that I'm incorporating more qualitative things. Yeah. For instance, this one study I'm doing with my colleague from the Turkish department was actually interested. We tested quite a lot of bilingual children with two language tests, one
Yes.
in Dutch and one in Turkish, to see how their languages were developing. I mean,
Yep.
how the language development was in their two languages. But these are standardized language tests.
Yep.
So in addition to the quantitative data from the test, the test scores, we also interviewed the parents quite extensively on which languages they use at home, how do they feel about it, are they anxious about their children's language development. So, and in our paper that we now submitted, we feel that the qualitative part really adds or helps to explain the results.
Yeah.
So I feel rather good about it.
So yeah, and in other words, you are in fact, by doing this already for a number of years, developing your own style in that. I mean, could you say that that's the first question, of course, whether your methodology is a certain combination or a certain style of quantitative and qualitative elements, or does that more depend upon what kind of topic you're working on?
It depends. Let me think of other studies now. I'm trying to set up the quantitative. Yeah, I feel that in the qualitative, for the qualitative parts, I still need to learn a lot. I'm not really used to it, except for asking. What we always do is like asking participants to complete questionnaires with background information on their language use and things like that. But that's still again questionnaires.
Yeah.
It's it's you can quantify it.
Yeah.
So the qualitative aspect is quite new for me. I don't feel that I have a certain personal special way of combining it yet. I feel I still need to learn a bit there.
Yeah. So actually what you're saying is that your strength lies in the quantitative aspect, and that you're adding a dimension using qualitative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But in fact your home base is quantitative.
Yes. Yes.
But chances are, linked to success in this, that you might shift more to the qualitative way.
It depends on, I think it depends on the topic. It depends on the topic. At this moment, I still don't feel entirely comfortable with like only qualitative stuff.
So
for instance, I have
yeah.
supervised master theses for which then the student decides that the quantitative stuff actually is nothing for me. I don't want to do it. I don't. So let me do something qualitative, and then I agree. But sometimes I still have the feeling that then for me it gets too woolly, and that's because because of how I handle it, or they are just.
I understand it.
They're, for instance, interviewing some people, and then the thesis is more or less a summary of the interviews, which I think is not really the way it should be. I mean, it's not necessarily. Yeah. So
I think I get it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to stop with a research project for whatever reason?
Have I had to stop?
Because the funding stopped, or because?
Almost. Well, a study, I would say, not a big project, but almost. But now we picked it up again. But we had to stop almost 2 years because the data collection was going to take place in Louvain-la-Neuve, and someone, a professor over there, was going to take care of it, and he completely dropped out of the project. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that at that moment it really looked like, okay, this is the end
Yeah.
of all the work I invested in this. But now, okay, fortunately we.
And less extreme, does it happen often that while doing a project or a paper or research that you change direction while doing it, just because you discover things that you hadn't anticipated? You know where I'm going?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I understand what you mean.
Because the next question
Yeah.
would be, is it always so that you have an idea, you anticipate, you start, and it just goes as planned? No.
I was going to say never, maybe, but never exactly as planned. Or
No,
what
not.
I've had is
Yeah.
that I collected too many data. During my postdoc, at one time I was collecting experimental data from children learning English, but also spontaneous speech and this and that, and then like maybe only half of the data were eventually used or were published, and the rest weren't even analyzed.
Okay, but I suppose you still have those data. Maybe one time you will be able to use them in another project.
Oh yeah, not anymore now, because it was many years ago.
Okay,
I don't have the consent forms anymore. I should have maybe, but a few years ago.
Yeah.
This is also something that recently became more and more important. So maybe
Diachronic
for
studies.
2 days. No. I mean consent and
right.
ethical stuff. That if it's a project that I did some years ago, is probably not up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really can't do that
You
anymore.
couldn't use the
No.
data anymore. No, I don't think so. But
So I suppose there have been times that you really were surprised by the totally different outcome from than what you had anticipated in the first place.
a different outcome. Let me think now. That the results were really different from what I had expected. Yeah, I can think of a study where that happened. Yes, yeah.
Can you say something about that? What was it about?
It was a study on. We wanted to examine whether. Okay, so it was a study on the acquisition of non-native sounds, and we wanted to examine whether giving orthography to participants, like orthographic forms of or orthographic representations of sounds, would help them to distinguish between the contrasts. So we did it with American English speakers, and we taught them the French contrast between ou and u, and the experimental group got the orthography, got the letters on the screen during the training, and then there was a group that didn't get, and we really thought that the experimental group would do better, but we didn't find that.
Okay.
Yeah, which almost brought me to tears at some point.
Really?
Yeah. I remember I was there. I was in North Carolina for data collection, and I started in the evenings to analyze the data, and I couldn't find any difference between the two groups, which was unexpected.
Can you tell me something about the innovations in your research, or what is innovative in your research, according to you? Not what other people tell, but what do you think is really innovative in what you do?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Of course. But there's no right answer. I mean, it's just, what do you think is innovative in what you do?
Yeah. I have to think about that for a moment. Maybe. Yeah, I guess I was fairly innovative in some topics. Just that, like the effect of orthography, was something that hadn't been really investigated before. Effect of orthography on phonology, or the link between orthography and phonology. I liked that project because it was kind of new. Then I know people who are still working on this topic from when we started it, and then I think, for me this is sort of after a while I feel like we need to move on and do something else. But and then right now, I guess what I like is as you said, like the combination of the quantitative and the qualitative stuff. I don't know if it's innovative, but maybe for bilingual children from migration backgrounds, it hasn't been done before. Yeah. So either the children are.
And you really get the impression that it works, doing it now the way you do it.
It's very time-consuming. It's very intense, I think, because you need to collect two types of data and analyze them and then connect them. But I think it's rewarding. Yeah.
Okay. I've also noticed with the papers that most of the papers you do together with other people. Is that typical, or be it for nowadays, or because my idea was there used to be a time that a lot of researchers did it alone, but now there's a lot of teamwork.
Yeah.
Is that correct, that there is more teamwork nowadays than there used to be?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Definitely in linguistics. I think, for instance, in literature studies, it's still also common to work on your own. And I think we were talking about this actually just last week, that someone was in a committee with people from literature, and someone was saying, but she's done some publications on her own. That's a good thing. I think in linguistics we are gradually moving away from that, because if the work is better if you collaborate, then why wouldn't we collaborate? It's so
and
some studies are so complicated. You need statistics, you need all sorts of data and data analysis. So that's part of the fun, I think.
And in fact, you bring in people who have their own discipline, their own specialty, that can help you with what you're after.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about teamwork?
I really like it. Yeah. I like working with people on a project. I find it very motivating when things are going well, but also when things are not going so well. At least you're not on your own. You can support each other and discuss how to solve the situation or to help. Of course, sometimes collaborations are not so nice. We have to be honest about that. But most of the time, I think I've been lucky. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think has been the impact of your work up till now? On society, economy, I don't know.
Okay, policy, that's a difficult one as well.
There must be impact, because if I remember right, at certain times you are interviewed by the news media, television.
Me personally? Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I'm struggling with that a bit. Okay, I think my impact, if you need to apply for a grant or whatever, you're asked about your scientific impact and your societal impact. Scientific impact, I hope I have had a little bit with my work. Societal impact, a little bit, but not so much, I think. And I find it difficult. I find it personally find it very difficult to make the step from the results of my studies to making them public and go to the media with these results, because certainly now for Dutch as a foreign language there is a certain pressure to do that.
Yeah.
There are some big players in the field who have very well-known and very decided opinions about certain things, and I hesitate. I hesitate too much. I'm like, okay, our study shows this, but then hey, we only had so many children, and you have to be very careful.
Because there are chances that people are going to abuse the outcome of papers, or not. I think politics.
Oh, that too. It's very sensitive. Yes, yes. That too, but also because I can't. Yeah, because as a researcher, you know all the limitations. You know all the. Usually, it's not black or white. So you have to do a study that shows that it's black or it's white, and then you go to the media or something.
Yeah.
But most studies don't show black or white at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, what bothers me is a little bit is researchers who from the outset, when they set up the study, know that they want to find black or white, and then hey, the study shows that they were right, and I'm always sort of grayish.
Yeah. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
How do you manage your projects from day to day? By now I know that you like the freedom. I suppose you must, when you're free, you can do whatever you like, but I suppose that you have to manage your time anyway.
Yeah.
That you need structure.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
This is going to the interview about the struggles, I think. I'm still struggling with that. Now that I have this position, I find it more difficult than when I was a postdoc. When I was a postdoc, I also had teaching, but I could easily kind of manage my time. Now I've been in this position for almost 3 years. I'm still struggling with it a little bit. I try to keep some days for research, and that really, like after a day, just one day of just research, I'm really happy. I feel like, okay, I made some progress. But it's
so it's not easy to find a balance.
No.
And it used to be easier.
As a postdoc, yes, definitely. Because I could just, I didn't have to go to so many meetings, and okay, I supervised some students, but that I could still manage. I could make my own planning. Nowadays, there's a meeting here and a meeting there, and then you can't do research like in between things.
So at a certain moment, you have to choose priorities.
Yes.
And then you say, I'll do this, but I can't do that. And not, I'll try to do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you manage to do that?
Are
you able to say, no, sorry, not that?
I try to. I try to, but it's a gradual process, I think. Yeah.
So
I try to say that, okay, I can't do everything, so yeah. But then I still try to find solutions for the things I can't do. Is this getting you somewhere, or yeah?
I think I have most of what I need, in fact. Oh yes. Are there any big issues in your research area that you are aware of?
Yes, there are many big issues, I think. But in research on Dutch as a foreign language in general, but yeah, even in my research itself, for instance, the study we did with the Turkish Dutch bilingual children, they're big nowadays. Even in politics, there are issues about what we should do with children with a different home language.
Yeah.
Who are not whose language proficiency in Dutch isn't good enough, and should we give them the taalbaden and stuff? So that sort of questions.
Yeah, that has been on the news like not long ago.
No, just 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
or so. Yeah.
And what do you think? Should we do that? Give them taalbaden?
Well, at least Weetz's original proposal, I don't know if it's to put the children aside in separate classes with a teacher to just get Dutch. It was criticized by lots of people, and I think no, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. But we were talking about it the other day. There is very little research, and it was also in a newspaper. But there is very little research to show that it's either good or a bad idea.
Okay, I suppose I'm going to the end of this.
Okay, good.
End questions. What question are you still waiting for?
Waiting for?
Yeah, what question are you waiting for? I mean, you know that I was coming to talk to you about your research and methods. We are at the end.
Oh,
and you said,
okay.
What the heck, didn't he start about this or that?
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were good. The only question that sort of came to my mind when you sent the email was, oh, he's probably going to ask, like, which method are you using? Do you work experimentally? Do you work with corpora and stuff like that? But you were very well prepared. You knew exactly what I was doing, so I didn't really expect that question anymore. No.
Is there anything you want to elaborate about, because it must be told? Things that are on your mind that you say, whoever I see, I really have to say.
I guess I'm not that sort of person, but...
Because it keeps you busy all the time.
Because it keeps me busy all the time.
And that people are not aware of it. I mean, something so important that everyone should know, considering, of course, your domain, your research.
Considering my domain, or research in general.
Yeah. Or whatever, but I mean...
Oh, there are certain things that keep me like preoccupied, but one of them I mentioned, I think, is the bridge between like doing research and talking about your research to a larger community of non-specialists. That's something that is now deemed very important, and I agree we should do it, but I find it so difficult. I find it difficult. Because I feel I'm always in progress, not reaching a final decision on some topic.
Which probably is okay.
Which probably is okay, yeah. Or I need some more time to get into this new area to really say that, okay, we have found this now, and yeah.
Well, okay. I can only thank you.
You're welcome.
And be very grateful that you have been willing to do this.
You're welcome. It was kind of fun talking about it.
33 minutes.
Dank u wel.
Dank u.
Ja, en wat moet je daar nu mee doen? Ik heb niks gezegd dat niet geweten mag zijn.
Ik heb het afgezet.